Bigger is better when it comes to a car battery. That doesn't always mean the physical size of the battery case, but a bigger number when it comes to cranking amps. Sometimes the dimension of the battery case will be slightly larger, and you will have to check if it will fit in your car. Optima spiral batteries are typically more compact and smaller than flooded lead-acid batteries. When a car manufacturer installs a battery at the factory, they typically install the smallest, cheapest, and lightest battery that they can. This way, they reduce their cost and reduce the weight of the car to improve gas mileage to meet the government fuel efficiency standards. Typical car batteries have lead in them, and they are heavy. New car batteries don't last very long, so when you have to replace it, I recommend getting a more powerful one. Why? Let me explain with this chart. As a battery ages, it loses its ability to crank the starter motor, which turns the engine and provides electrical energy to the ignition system to start the car. Battery life is affected by many factors such as extreme heat, extreme cold, low charge, evaporation, sulfation, vibration, or even leaving the lights on while parked until you have a dead battery. Some batteries recharge better than others. Using a battery tender is the best way to maximize the battery life when the car is parked for extended periods of time. I use a Solar BA5 tool to measure the health of my car batteries. I posted a video of that on my channel. I measure voltage, cranking amps, and cold cranking amps. Cranking amps are CA and cold cranking amps are CCA. The Group 78 Optima Red Top in my Corvette is a spiral cell AGM battery, absorbent glass matte. There's a picture of that battery in this chart. It is rated at 12.8 volts with 1000 cranking amps and 800 cold cranking amps when new and fully charged. The Solar BA5 will show a yellow light to charge the battery when the Optima is below 12.6 volts. You need to charge it to bring it back up to 12.8. So anything between 12.6 and 12.8 is going to show green, and below 12.6 will show yellow. A traditional flooded lead acid battery is 12.6 volts when fully charged. But how much battery power does it take to start a car? A good rule of thumb is to plan on 1 cold cranking amp per cubic inch of engine displacement, plus 20% more for cold weather. So a 5.7 liter V8 in my Corvette equals 348 cubic inches. Then you add 20%, which equals about 418 cold cranking amps. When a new car manufacturer installs a battery, they could install a 500 cold cranking amp battery and sell you the car. But you won't get a very long life out of a 500 cold cranking amp battery. Before long, that battery will be down below 418 cold cranking amps and the car won't start. Let's assume constant temperatures and no abuse of the battery, like leaving the lights on while parked. In this chart, it shows the CA and the CCA will decline a little bit each month over the expected life of the battery. The higher the quality of the battery and the more you paid for it, the longer life expectancy it should have. Generally, when a battery is measured at less than 80% of the CA and or the CCA, it should be replaced. In this chart, the horizontal dotted red line shows 80% of the CA, and the horizontal dotted blue line shows 80% of the CCA. This corresponds to about 36 months of life on average. The Solar BA5 tool will show a red fail indicator light when the battery measures below 80% in cranking amps or cold cranking amps. But if you bought a more powerful battery than the minimum spec that your engine requires, you should get more life out of it before it fails to start the engine. And that would be the horizontal green line in this chart. You may get as much as 84 months of life before it fails to start the engine. In the case of a Group 78 Optima Red Top in my Corvette, the battery may last anywhere from 36 months, depending on how it is maintained, to as long as 84 months. It is also dependent on how extreme the weather is. Extreme hot and extreme cold can kill a battery. If you're getting ready to go on a long trip and you don't want any trouble with your car battery, pay attention to the age, the cranking amps, and the cold cranking amps measured by your battery tester. Corvettes and other modern cars with a lot of electronics are highly dependent on a fully charged battery. Low voltage and weak cranking amps can trigger diagnostic trouble codes like a check engine light that are caused by a weak battery and not really a problem with the car electronics. A weak battery may even lead to a failed smog test. I hope this helps you understand battery requirements for your car and how to get the most life out of your battery.